Sure. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And thanks for pointing that out because I was just going to say that when I started the organization, to basically the mandate for the organization is to bridge the gap for women in STEM. So to make more STEM, to make STEM more equal to, women, females. The participants that come into our program are in high school, so generally around 13 to 17 years old. We are a movement more than we are just we just program. This is a
Yeah.
movement. Absolutely. You know what I mean? We're changing, like because of our work, our organization was the first in Ontario to focus on girls in STEM. So the biggest accomplishment for me to see all of this low income participants that came in our program, not only do they complete and they do amazing, they won awards for their aspiration in computer science. They participated in competitions, not just Canada but US. They won number one. They go into post-secondary and they complete their post-secondary education, and they are working in the field. They're out there making me proud, like they're my children.
Hi, here Nicole again, and today with Doina Oncel. Thank you for joining us, Doina, today.
Thank you
And
for having me.
yeah, and I'm curious to know so much about you and what are you doing. I know you started a non-for-profit
Hmm.
foundation in 2013.
Yes.
I knew you since the beginning, but I know since then many things happened, and I'm interested to know why you started in the first place. Why you
Hmm.
started the foundation, and the foundation is hErVOLUTION, and we're gonna put
Yeah.
a link on the description of the
Yes.
video.
Yes. 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 Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, well, that's a really good story. So, why did I start Revolution? Um, that was just over 11 years ago. Funny, before I started Revolution, I had a digital marketing company. I was one of the very early adopters of digital marketing, internet. I want to know how social media works and all that stuff. But um, while I was doing that, I'm also a social worker by trade. So I studied the Assaulted Women's and Children's Counselor Advocate Program at George Brown College. So it's a social work with a feminist perspective, focusing on women and children's rights. And while I was working as a digital marketer, I used to go to a lot of events where my story is that when I was doing that, the digital marketing, I didn't have a lot of money, so I would go for a lot of training so I can learn as much as possible. So I feel like if I paid whatever amount of money, any business owner understands this. You pay amount of money, then that means that that information should be able to make you more money, right? So my thing was like, I'm having my hand up and I'm asking a lot of questions. And we're talking about, you know, more than 10 events, where what I noticed, there was things that were happening. Basically, I felt like I was talking to the same person, but, different, looking differently, but the conversation was the same. So women from that event, and just to mention, that event, there were probably, let's say, 30 to 40 people in the room, and there will only be like 3 to 4 women in the room, myself included. And the women that were there were not asking a lot of questions, but I was because I wanted to know. I said, the money that I have, I'm paying for this workshop. I want this workshop to make me money. So basically, if I'm going to spend my time here and my money here, I should have enough income to pay my bills for a month. That was my thought process, right? So of course I want to ask all the information and ask a lot of questions. And so when I put my hand up all the time, I will have women from the room coming to me and ask me to ask questions on their behalf. And I was
Wow.
like, first of all, I don't even know what I'm asking because everything was relatively new to me, right? And we're talking about, technology and IT and cloud computing and things like that. And I was like, okay, before I ask this question, I need you to explain to me what this is because I don't know. So what am I asking? And then when I noticed that there was this was happening very often, what I did is I decided to have conversations with this woman. I literally just asked them, why are you asking me to ask? Why can't you ask? Right? Like, I mean, you're in the same room as I am, so why don't you ask the question? And very similar answer I got from multiple women at different events. You know, the answer was, I've been in this industry for decades. This is the only type of industry I've ever worked in. And as a woman, when I ask questions, you know, even at work, in the workspace, if I ask questions, I am being put down. I'm going to, you know, people look at me differently. That might even prevent me from getting a raise because apparently I don't know everything. Some women have mentioned that, you know, when they ask questions and they act like they don't know, which I mean, who knows everything, right? But you know, when they feel like if they ask a lot of questions, then sometimes men in the room, they will have very misogynistic type of behaviors in comments saying that, well, maybe if you were to marry right, you wouldn't have to be here to ask all these questions. Or maybe if you were to, you know, I don't know, there's certain things. And I was like, and you know, you and I, we come from Romania, and this is what I remember in Romania. Women were not treated properly back, we're talking 34 years ago, right? And in my mind, I thought, this is just probably something that happens back home. But when I saw that here, I was like, I came to Canada for a better life, right? I didn't expect that this happens here. And so I decided to look into it. I decided to learn more about why is this happening in this. I guess it was the social worker in me decided to investigate, right? To say, why are women in this field treated the way they are? And that's why I learned that there's not enough women in STEM. I mean, at that time, we're talking about 17 to 24% women in STEM. But again, if you're talking about women that are at a higher level in a company, the number will be even lower. Like women that come with multiple barriers, the same. The number will be even lower or non-existent in the statistics. So, as a social worker, yeah.
You mentioned STEM. Can you explain what STEM stands for?
Sure. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And thanks for pointing that out because I was just going to say that when I started the organization, basically the mandate for the organization is to bridge the gap for women in STEM. So to make STEM more equal to, you know, women, females. Because I come from the social work background, I feel like I don't know if I should be doing this, right? Because someone that is in STEM should be doing this. And that was a bit that's what make me have the idea in my head for a year and a half before I even started the organization.
And what the organization do in how they promote female in STEM industry?
Sure. So in the beginning, I tried a lot of things. I wanted to see what works, what doesn't work. And now it's mostly about, so the so-called business model is we work with industry partners so that we can provide programs and workshops for girls in high school where they learn about technology, they learn about engineering, they learn about science in partnership with the industry partners. And the reason why we do that is because you can't have someone that reads something from a book to teach something that they don't really know exactly how it actually works. So in order for us to inspire the next generation is to connect them with the industry. So they learn how to code, they learn about engineering principles, they learn about science, about, you know, becoming doctors or anything to do with the sciences, planetary science. Trust me, I've learned so much about this that there's so many, like STEM is so diverse in itself that, you know, I didn't even know that forensics engineering is a thing until I just studied this.
Oh, nice to hear that. So how can a girl 16 years old, or actually I should ask what's the age to be accepted in your, and who can apply to your programs?
Yes, so the participants that come into our program are in high school, so generally around 13 to 17 years old. Although we have some young participants in the past that were 9 years old when they joined, but because they're brilliant, they did much better than the 13-year-old. So they're around that age. And in terms of demographic, the other demographic, they have to experience multiple barriers. And the number one barrier that, that we consider as a criteria to qualify for the programs, they have to be low income. So they would be low income first, meaning that they cannot afford certain things. And then they could, there could be new immigrants, they could be, I don't know. But the most important thing, they have to be low income.
Do you have that in the website if someone wants to look up the information, what's the threshold as low income in 2024, for example?
So that's a bit tricky. I mean, I know that when you look at the City of Toronto website, for example, they have the thresholds. Like what we consider low income, we're a little bit more forgiving, meaning that it's like what we consider is about maximum $20,000 per person in the household would be low income, because we're looking at the standard of living, and then we have people that have multiple people in the house, right? And so they have, if I say what's considered low income, even in the regular organization, I think that's below poverty line. What we want to do, we're not going to put people in a situation to prevent them from joining the program because they have to choose between paying for the program or paying for food, right?
Yes. So, okay, I want to walk a little bit the street of hErVOLUTION with you.
Yes.
So let's say a girl, 14 years old, from a family of $20,000 per capita, will apply. She's good at math. She has the skills.
But she doesn't necessarily have to have the skills when she joins our program. She could come with zero skills. They will learn that in our programs.
Yeah, but kind of, I was thinking skills,
Okay.
some inclination to the math, because some are
Okay.
more, some are more arts, let's say. It could be both, yeah. So a girl, 13 years old, the income qualifies. She gonna apply to you through your website and contact you. And she said, I want to be a doctor, for example, because you mentioned it's for doctors as well. And I know doctors make good money here in Canada. When after they graduate, of course. So what are you gonna do with this girl? So how it's gonna go?
So she could join any of the program. Could be the seminar program, where she gets to, so the seminar program, she gets to work with the team. She gets to learn how to code. She gets to solve one of the 17 SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. They come up with a web app, mobile app, or a game. The idea is not necessarily, we're not going to tell them like, this is how you use a scalpel. It's like, this is the STEM industry. So it's like, could be the first step into it. And then they could also, what we do is we show them, once you come into this program, if you are interested in medicine, for example, to become a doctor, these are some ways in which you can use the learning here. Some of the students that we've had, as an example, in this program, now they are taking biomedical engineering in university, right? So they're still in the medicine industry, but also the engineering mixed up with it, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so they do those, they learn about that stuff. So then we try to connect them with people from the industry to become their mentors. So when they finish the program, we connect them with the mentor, and they could work with the mentor. Some of the students that have worked with the mentor could be 6 months to 4 years until they actually finished university. So that depends on the mentor and the mentee, right? They build that relationship, and if you feel like it's something that they can still continue doing, we don't stop them. So we just let them
Question.
continue.
These
Yes.
programs are payable by the students, by the parents of the students?
No, we get funding from corporations and we apply for grants. However, if the household comes from the not low income, they pay according to their, like a sliding scale. So they might make a little bit over. So then we're looking at maybe a $50 fee versus $3,000, how much the program costs, right?
Okay, so even
Yeah.
somebody with a household of $50,000 per capita, but they want to
They can
encourage
still
their
join.
daughter to
Yes.
open
Yes.
their mind, they can apply and they will pay.
Yeah.
It's
They
good.
will just,
I
yeah.
like that because I do feel there are many programs for low income or helping struggling
Families.
families and struggling kids, kind of, because they have also in school different tutoring programs. So again, for the struggling, I do find that there are not so many for the brilliant kids overall in the picture. So
Yes.
I'm glad that you are open to that.
Absolutely. And let me tell you why it's important to be open to that part. Because when we combine people from all walks of life in the same room, they get to learn about each other and they get to appreciate each other more. And when you get to work, to be in the workforce, right? You don't get to choose who you work with. You don't say, I'm just only going to work with people that are low income. You have to work with everybody. So this is the opportunity to connect with each other and learn from each other and appreciate each other. The same time as the reason why we have men that come and mentor, and sometimes they're instructors or they're involved with our program. Because once you go in the workforce or when you go to school to post-secondary, unless you go to an all-girls school, right, you don't get to choose that environment. So it's just really good way for them to learn that it doesn't matter where you come from. There are certain similarities that we have, and then we have allies, right? In men, allies and people that come from other walks of life.
One more question regarding still at this
Yes,
topic, and
yes.
we move forward to another
I love
question.
these questions.
The mentors who can,
Mhm.
I assume they are on the volunteer basis, but
Yes,
correct me. Yeah, so they are
yes,
volunteer. Okay.
yeah.
And I guess
Well,
this
we
is,
have some amazing people. Like, so the mentors come from our partnering company, or we can just also like go in, outside. If when a student comes to us and they give us their information, when they apply for the program, and when they said, I'm interested in a mentor, we ask them a section, like a couple of questions to learn more about what they're actually looking for. If we don't have that internally, we put it out there. We get people to, hey, would you be interested to be a mentor? And they apply. People want to give back. People want to support,
nice.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I've been a volunteer to some NPO in the past. Not anymore with my little one. He doesn't
Yes.
he doesn't give me free time at all. But I hear you that people want to give, and
Hmm.
as a mentor, you receive back multiply.
Yes.
In
Yes,
life,
we
in
do.
all sorts of chapters, when you give, something comes back
Yes,
always.
absolutely. That's what I hear from all the mentors that we've had in the past. I feel like I gain more by being a mentor than me giving to the mentee. And the mentee says, I feel like I gain so much from the mentor. So it's a really good,
Yes.
collaboration.
Collaboration. Yeah.
Yes.
You were thinking the same word.
Yes.
Okay, so you said that this program costs money. Now I'm jumping to another question.
Hmm.
Um, some people cannot be mentor. For example, me, I don't have time.
Right. Right.
But other can participate with
Hmm.
their time and knowledge. But the one who would like to support the learning process of the girls in
Hmm.
this country, can they make donation? Do you accept donation, or how you?
Absolutely.
Okay, from
Yes.
people, from
Yes, we can. We call them individual donations. So people can donate, make a one-time donation, or they can contribute monthly, whatever they can. We have on Canada Helps. We are partner with them, so we have our organization there, and they can automatically get a receipt, a charitable receipt from
Oh,
there, so that way, they can make deduction when they do the income tax. So
this is very important. As an accountant, I
yes,
this was my next question. If you give receipts as a charitable donation for
yes,
people to deduct, so you
yes.
anticipated more than I hope.
Yes. When I started the organization in the beginning, we are just a regular not-for-profit, and the difference is that we could not give a donation receipt, although we had some amazing people and they donated anyways because they believed in our cause. But now in 2019 we become a charity, officially a charity. And then now this is how the only way that you can partner with Canada Helps is if you are a charity, and then you automatically get a receipt from them.
It's good that you done that process. I know it's not easy and it's
No.
paperwork. As an accountant, I know. I congratulate you for
Thank
achieving
you.
that because money is a sensitive topic, and it's good
Hmm.
when you give a donation to receive something back from government.
Right.
It's nice. It's
Right.
I have 3 more questions.
Okay, ask me all the questions you have. I'm here to answer.
3 for today. Maybe we're gonna meet another day, but I have 3 more questions for today.
Hmm.
What were the struggles at the beginning? Because now it's nice, you have the program implemented, people comes to you, but the beginning, how it
I
was?
wouldn't say now it's nice. There's always struggle. Every time you step, you go one step, you get there, and then you realize, ooh, to get to the next step, there's another struggle. So in the beginning, the struggle for me was that I came from social work background into the STEM fields, and I didn't understand STEM very well. And then, to be able to let everybody know what I do and why I'm doing it, it was a little bit, I also had a little bit of my imposter syndrome showing up, because like, why am I here? I'm a social worker. I shouldn't be doing this. But only when I would be in a room and I realized the way that people have conversations and the things that they say, the way that they approach the closing the gender gap, I was like, no, that's not how you do it. This is why I need to be here. So those are the struggles. And then, when you start anything new, a business, a non-for-profit, it doesn't matter. You have the struggle of you are new to this industry, and you have to, there's that saying in the startup or the proof of concept. So you have to have that proof of concept. For the first 2 years, for example, we couldn't even receive grants, because most grants are like, in order to qualify for them, you have to be in existence for at least 2 years. So like, but we need the money now. And
Yeah.
then within those 2 years, you have to do some work to prove that you are still, you're good enough for the funding. So those 2 years was kind of a struggle. And then just kind of another thing that's a struggle is that always figure out what to do to stay relevant, and having to always pivot, like have a plan, but be ready to pivot, because your plan could go only so far. Like, we look at what happened with the pandemic. We had this great plan, we had our programs, we knew exactly what to do, and then we had to pivot in a matter of weeks. And so now we're still pivoting. For now is like, the struggle now is like, how do we do these things hybrid, right? Our programs to do in person and virtual, to please everybody, and then to create an environment where, because we feel like this is where the future goes, when it comes to the workforce. A lot of people now want more of a hybrid model work. They don't really want to, some people don't want to go in person at all. Some people don't want to, schools are becoming that way too, like when you go to post-secondary. So we're trying to stay relevant with what's
Yeah.
happening. So
So
those are
now
the
it's
struggles, but they're also exciting,
true, true, especially
Yes,
when you accomplish, when you solve it. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, but like you said, when you solve one, comes another one or three.
yes, that's true.
You don't get bored. Yes.
Absolutely.
And in order to accomplish all of this, how you do it? Do you have a team? You do it by yourself? How much time you are dedicating to you, if you can
If
close?
I could have 40 hours a week, or like, no, it says, no, a day is 24 hours. If a day would be 40 hours, it would be so much better. And if I could have like 5 of me, it would be even better. Um,
Hear you.
but, but, I do have a team. So right now, we're just able to hire someone, which I'm very excited at hErVOLUTION, which is great. We hire in the summer, we hire
Mhm,
students. So we give the former, like sometimes former students, they are in post-secondary. So we bring them back to become trainers, and they can teach
mhm.
the girls in the
Oh,
program what they learn. So we do that. And we'll also have a board, like a board of directors. Plus we have committees, so everybody gets certain things what they can do. And when they come in the organization, they always say, I would like to help. great. So now we look at what the skills that they have and the skills that we need. And when there's a match, we add them. The best part about people coming in our organization is because they come to stay for at least a year. So most of the people that we have, about 100 people in our organization, are all volunteers. So when they
Nice.
come in, they join, they become part of a committee, they're part of a project. They get to see their stuff from, their work from the beginning to the end, right?
Yeah.
It's not just like come in one time and then you gotta go. Unless you're a speaker and that's all that time that you have and you have something to share, great knowledge for the students. But typically that's how it works. So
So I
I'm
think
so glad to have the volunteers,
yeah. So I think for this people like board of director, it's good to show on the resume. I'm thinking on the other side as
Yes,
well.
but I would like people to be here. It's great for the resume, but it's also um, what I'm looking for. It's people that are looking to add that to the resume, but to complete projects too,
Of
because
course.
you know what I mean. Like some people, they want to come in just because we had people in the past. Like, oh, this is gonna look. I had this lady. She used to harass me like every week. She'll call me. I want to sit on your board because this is gonna look great on my resume. I'm like, but you have nothing to offer. You don't even want to come to meetings. Like that's not gonna work. So people need to understand, because as a not-for-profit, right, as a charity, we have limited resources. And when people come in, if they have nothing to offer, we can't give them the opportunity to add this board position on their resume. They have to be able to, we're not we're a movement more than we just program. This is a
Yeah.
movement. Absolutely. You know what I mean? We're changing, like, because of our work, our organization was the first in Ontario to focus on girls in STEM that are as a not-for-profit.
Nice.
And
Nice.
now, yes, and now you see a lot of small organizations, they see, oh, I could probably do this, and you see some students and we support them. And, so that tells us that what we do, it's important work. So when they come in, they have to contribute, not just take, right?
Yes.
So, yes.
Yeah. So those were struggles. Like I understand the beginning, the non-for-profit not having money. You have to wait for 2 years. You have to prove yourself, and the challenges are still continuing on all parts. Board of directors, finding the proper mentor sometimes, and probably finding company to work with, to place
Yes.
the students. And I'm hoping that more company will come to work with you.
Oh, I hope so too. We need them.
Yeah. Oh, and now I have another question. What are your accomplishments? What you are proud of? Okay, we struggle, we figured out the road. It's a working process all the time. But what were your what accomplishment? I know one already. You made it your organization as a charity. This is a big accomplishment in my eyes as an accountant.
Yeah.
But beyond that, what other accomplishment you can mention?
There are a couple. So, when I started the organization, I remember I approached this investor and I spent my last dollars to go see him at an event. And I said, this is what I'm doing. I'm having this organization to get more girls in STEM. He says, it's a great idea. And then when I told him that my main demographic is low income, his immediate response, this will never going to work. Nobody was going to invest in poor people, because how are we going to make money? That was a bad idea. I just drop it and give it, So the biggest accomplishment for me to see all of this low income participants that came in our program, not only do they complete and they do amazing, they won awards for their aspiration in computer science. They participated in competitions, not just Canada but US. They won number one. They go into post-secondary and they complete their post-secondary education, and they are working in the field. They're making me proud, like they're my children.
Of
and,
course.
and then they come back into the organization because they understand, like we're so transparent, like sometimes we only have like 80% of the funding, but we're still going to do this program, right? And then they know because they come back. This is how this impacted me. I want to come back so that I can support you, so you can continue doing this work, so that other girls like me have an opportunity like I did.
Yeah, this
Those
is so
things make me
emotional to
so
me now.
proud. Yes,
Yeah.
that stuff makes me so proud. And to see them, they'll come back and for years, and to have volunteers in the organization. That this organization is just over 11 years old, and we have volunteers that have been with us for 8 years, 5 years, and they're still not ready to go. So that tells us that as much as they take from us, as much as they give to us, they take something. They see the impact that they're making. So for me, because other than, we are an award-winning charity, and then, we're doing all this, but to see the young women in our programs, their results and the impact that we made through our programming, it's the best thing ever,
Accomplishment.
really.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that's the best thing.
The purpose of the charity is accomplished. You
Yes,
have the girls active in the STEM industry,
absolutely.
paid and unpaid.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
nice. I'm a mother of a boy, but I support you as a
Well, you know
woman.
what, boys, hopefully, so I'm going to say this one thing because I know
Mhm.
we get that a lot from like mothers that have boys, and, in order for us to change, to make STEM more inclusive, we can't remove boys. We should focus on this. This is something that I'm thinking maybe my next
Mhm.
move would be, because I want to change, because sometimes the funding that we get is typically to support only girls. But I want them to change this, because as we want both low income and not low income in the program, as we want male mentors in the program, we should have both boys and girls in the program for them to learn at the same time, to see each other's strengths and become more accustomed to say, this is how you work with a woman, this is how you work with a man, when you go into the field. And just girls only, although it's great to some degree, we need to have a bit of a combination too. We should have some of those programs that will include men, like young
Yeah.
boys, right? Because
I'm
they've
looking
had,
forward to this idea. My
yeah.
boy is only 1 year old now, so we still have a way to go.
Okay.
But I'm looking
You're giving me
forward.
a challenge now. You're giving me a
Yes,
challenge.
and I assess my boy as a smart boy. So
Yes.
who knows,
Of
maybe
course.
10, 11 years old, I might knock at your door for my boy. So
Yes, of course.
I'm looking
I
forward
would
to
love
that
to.
moment.
I would think it would be great to have that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Like I said, there should be more program to develop the kids, not
Hmm.
only to help them survive. Because
Right.
what I've seen is kind of help them survive,
Right.
not excel. So I'm
Hmm.
so happy when I see programs like yours.
Thank you.
Congratulations for
I
it.
this is what I strive for. Like we're not surviving here. We're thriving in our programs. Like we are thriving. The participants that come in, I have very high expectations of them, and I tell them right away, and they're like ready to take on the challenge, and be the first in the family to finish university, be the first in the family to have, to work in STEM, or even like in Canada, the first in the family to be able to accomplish something because of our program. It's amazing. Hi. You froze.
And I'm back.
Oh,
My computer froze. This
that's
is
okay.
the life sometimes.
Welcome to technology. Yes.
Uh, yes, so we need more girls to work on this thing. So
Yes, yes, to make it better.
freezing computer won't happen so much in the future, even though, yeah, doesn't happen often, but yeah.
Yes.
So my question was, I'm not sure if you heard it. What are your goals for this year, 2024?
Oh, I didn't hear that question.
Okay.
So the goals for this year with hErVOLUTION, my goal is to have more of a hybrid model programming, and of course expand across Ontario as much as possible, and partner with post-secondary. So in order for me to be able to do the hybrid model programming is to be able to partner with post-secondary, like colleges, universities across Ontario, so that the students can learn there, and as well as moving forward companies, so that we can actually do some program inside companies like we did in the past before the pandemic. So just kind of have that experience for them as much as possible. And of course, like the biggest thing is like expand across Ontario, because right now we have some programming out, across Ontario, but very small numbers of people. But our main thing is in GTA,
Yeah. So do you have in mind some particular cities, so to reach out to make a shout out to them?
Oh, you know what? Anything that is, I would say, the remote areas, right? That would be great, because that means, that those areas don't have much access. Like, in Toronto, people say, oh, we don't have enough. There's a lot more happening in Toronto versus, in Northern Ontario, right? So for me, it's just like, how can we get into those areas that are like smaller cities versus the bigger cities, right? That would be great, because that's a way for us to make STEM more accessible to everyone that doesn't generally have access. Would be that one way to do it.
So from those areas, you will want to have more applicants, more girls to join the
I want to yes, and then to partner with schools, with post-secondaries from those areas, so that we can host them there. And yes, that's
so high school students from the remote area. Got it.
Yeah. And trust me, Ontario is big. Like, Ontario is big. We know we've been typically, when we outreach, we have maybe 500, 600 schools that we reach out to across Ontario to let them know about our programs. And we're talking about so many school boards, probably like 30 or 40 school boards in Ontario alone. So that we found, and I know that there's more.
I hope they reply to you, because
yes.
Yeah, I did reach out to some school boards and they didn't reply to me. So in the past, not so much in the past, like 3-4 years ago, but I'm hoping you have a better experience than me.
Thank you.
These were my questions for you today, and if you want to add something now, you're free to add.
You know what? I don't really have much to add. I feel like we talked about just about everything, but just want to say thank you. Thank you for inviting me to be part of this, so I can share what I do. This honestly, I'm very much so appreciate this, because sometimes it feels like not having this type of opportunities is what holds us back. By being able to be part of this, now we can share what we do, and other people can listen to your podcast and they can say, let me learn more about hErVOLUTION. So people can. And you can find us on social media. You just put hErVOLUTION, and we everywhere.
I'm going to put in the video description below the video. It will be a description. We're going to put all the links, the website, the social media accounts, and where they can make donation, or where they can partner with you as a company. Maybe they want to take in some girls to teach them some stuff.
That would be great.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Doina.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best with the charity, and
thank you.
I wish all the goals to be accomplished.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Take care. Bye now.
Bye.